is a hellish, mysterious realm with many unknown secrets. From the founders by ancient builders, through the Imperial era, to finally the current timeline. This video will showcase the continuations of the many settlements this Nether has and its history. Enjoy. Hello everybody, Minor Nation here. And in this episode, I'm going to showcase the last part of my Nether map. And even though there's a lot to explore, that'll happen in the next video, such as other ports, small inhabitants in tiny Nether islands, and even the parts where it's nowhere near the highway, because it's actually everywhere. But yeah, so you can see I'm actually back to where the series first began. Not in the first episode, not in the second, but the third. And as you can see, we actually need to go up north, according to the map in the screen screen you're currently looking at. Yeah, of course. It obviously my videos had to be scripted, but you know what? It's gonna take a lot of effort. It's gonna take obviously a long time, especially the in-game soundtrack. That takes a long time. But anyways, after passing through the generators and the part where all the supplies and power comes from one city to another, you come across here. This one was considered as the longest project in the Nether, because it's all supported and it's all basically near the ceiling. And as you can see, there's a small settlement, especially for people driving and taking public transportation and have a rest stop. And of course, this one keeps going and going. And then we're actually heading towards a city that lies ahead. And there it is. This one is named Warped City, even though it is not in a warped section of the Nether or anything remotely blue, even though that it has crimson all over. Yeah, it's literally crimson. But anyways, the city of Warp, or Warp City. But the latter is the best one. So this one is actually one of the recent modern cities in the Nether. Because prior to 1980, there was nothing. It was a former war zone. During the Fourth Civil War, between the remaining powers of the Imperial Nether Empire and the nation that leads to this day, the Democratic Republic of the Nether. And it's all built from scratch. And honestly, it is pretty much the first city you're seeing right now that has a lava river that is artificially made. And all the attention to details is pretty clear. Well, it's pretty deep, but it did give you some in-depth to see how very creative these builders were. So yeah, as you can see, the surrounding areas are basically all the housing sections, businesses in downtown. It's pretty typical, except for this building. This building is the Warp Hospital. It is pretty much the tallest hospital in the Nether, if not the largest. There are many hospitals around, but they're indistinguishable, just like any of these buildings right here. But this one's pretty much iconic, not because of the color, but because of its unique shape, whether if it's ugly or not. As you can see, there's a park right there, and there's in this lava river actually goes all the way down to right there, actually next to a nether fortress. And as mentioned before, you're gonna see these all the time. We keep going, keep going. There's a few sections, sometimes regular nether brick, red nether brick, and slabs. And just like in Netherrapolis and Glowstone, they do have these entrances that only government officials have access to the capital. Let's just say the city hall of the area. This one was a former imperial palace, but they converted to the city hall. And as mentioned before, it is pretty much structurally layered, since of course it's literally in the middle of nowhere at the time. All right, so hold on. All right, well the good thing is I could actually lower this because the music is pretty loud. Well, to me, but for you guys, it's not gonna be as noticeable. But as you can see, this one has been sectioned out by two. And of course, this is the Tri-City area. But it's technically a quad because there's another city down there, which I'll show you that in a little bit. So as you can see, we got some of the exit and entrance towards one area to another with section barriers and two rest stops and an archway towards another city. This one is the city of Golden. Another one down there has a different name, but that might change. So there's really not much of an official name, but actually no, it is not the city of Golden. My bad. It's the city of Blackstone. Oh my god. Okay, I'm glad you guys did not hear that. But anyways, oh my god, shut. Dude, I don't care about these goddamn notifications. See, I'm glad you guys couldn't hear it, but for me, I could hear them. But anyways, onto the video. So as you can see, this one is pretty much uphill, basically for wealthy residents, not as spur as possible. And right up ahead, there's a military base, which we can actually get to in the next video. And the other one, this one really has no name, because I really can't think of any right now, especially when I built this area. So as you can see, that the city has been split into four: the Warp City, Blackstone, and this one. But there's another one to keep in mind. Despite being closely together, it is its own area, and this one has no name either. But you can see there's a wall that splits the two areas. This one very prosperous, very humble, while this one is pretty grim and dark. Unlike the city of Nylium, which is also in Soul Sand Valley, this one is considered as the most dangerous. Not exactly as lawlessness, but something that crime is extremely high. Murder rates are pretty low, but pretty much everything else is pretty high. But yeah, the politics in the Nether is pretty insane. As mentioned before, some do have real world influence, but not as much. But yeah, let's continue on. You can go through the highway, going up, see a casino and a small inhabitant, a small town. Pretty neat. And this one actually takes the longest because I gotta plan this out. It looks easy, but I wouldn't say it's that hard either. Another small town has also have no name. And now we get through this intersection right here. This one I'm going to showcase you right here. This one's actually another Tri-City area, but except is on ground level. This one has no name. Very humble town, connected to a very long bridge. Now this city does have a name. and I mistakenly called the previous one with the Golden Dome Golden. Now this is the city Golden because this one is basically the first building that incorporates full gold, making the building extremely valuable. And just like Warp City, this one's also a modern city that was incorporated after 1980. But the other areas is actually much older. But yeah, going back, we got still the business district, more single family houses, and then we get to this one. Mine is the Nether Fortress, which is very magnificent to look at. Not exactly easy with his miniature scale, but anyways, this is the airport, and this is the first airport I ever built, and pretty much the first airport in the Nether. Even though there is no planes, there are helicopters and gas, so any riders could go here. And this one's technically the largest and if not the busiest, because guess what? It's near the major section of the Nether, which is central, near Sosampolis, near Netherapolis, near Warp City. Now we get down here. Obviously, this one has no name, and this one is, of course, the same city. This one does have a neat downtown business district, and once again, we got up a checkpoint. Unlike the last one, this one's pretty easy. This one's pretty eased off, and this one has a dam. And you know, building a dam like this is, of course, way too easy. But the question is, why do you need a dam in the Nether, especially with lava? One thing: energy. The heat source is energy here. And thank goodness a netherite is lava proof, just like any other blocks here that is not flammable. So everything's all good. So everywhere has electricity. Anyways, this one is technically the lighthouse, but lighthouses here is very different. Anyways, we see a bunch of areas. We got some a seaport, got some mining operations. As such, pretty basic. And as mentioned before, we're gonna go towards this area right here. And this area is pretty something because this one is the recent progress I've made. You got up a small town, another small town, farming community. All right, well that is interesting. Okay, well that did not happen when I'm making this video. All right, so it's gonna be a very rare common occurrence to see this because I really don't know what's going on. So not a successful video, but you know the video must move on. So minus the lava because that one wasn't there in the first place. But anyways, so we come across a small community right there, and then we head towards another city. And you see another unique building. This city is called Red Falls. There's a fall, and there's also a riverbed. Well, this one's man-made. And unlike Warp City and Golden, this one is pretty old because of this city hall. And of course, once again, this one used to be an imperial palace. Not anymore. There's like a lot of mysteries going on around in the Nether. And especially in a modern setting. It sounds crazy, but bear with me, it's bad insane. Okay, at least that one's fixed. And hoping that does not happen again. Let's continue on. So we got some raw basalt storage units, another seaport, another town, and then we got a monster cage right here. This one's to harbor overworld monsters such as skeletons and zombies. And skeletons are here. we're not talking about wither skeletons. We're talking about actual skeletons. Pretty much the unwanted attention the Nether doesn't need. But yeah, as you can see, I passed up a bridge. Very basic materials. That's about it. Of course, another small town, town hall. Between here until we get through to Corp, another major city, we're gonna go through a long journey of nothing. There are of course another fortress around, small farming communities. We got another small town. There's really not much to mention. And see that another fortress, probably the same thing. And then we get to here, a major seaport. And now we're actually almost there. So we got ourselves a small town. Got ourselves a bridge ascending up. And the city corp is right there. And then we get through the another part of corp will be here. A farming community, suburban homes, and of course, this ugly building. This building is a mall. Pretty much the largest, if not the largest mall in the Nether. And unlike the mall from the United States Research Facility Center, this one is artificially made by Nether parts and exclusively Nether parts. And this one predates the one in the Research Facility Center. It was once again another farming community, nothing special. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And Nether wars are pretty much very common because it's also a good source of protein. Well, for them, but for us, I don't know. Now we have entered the city of Corp. Now I mixed in both quartz and warp together because I'm almost out of names. There's a lot of good names. That's about it. So as you can see, we got ourselves the central business district and its downtown buildings. And then get through here. This one, at any building with quartz, especially when it's on the hillside, this one is the indication of an ancient city. And it was, because we can see more from this side. Yeah, so City Corp was an ancient city during the early years of the Nether, or basically when it was first recorded, especially by Steve himself. As you can see, we've got ourselves a Imperial Palace, which is now an historic site. And then this one right here, I'll talk to that in a little bit. As you can see, it has been walled off with bunkers around. It has a lot of historical significance, especially in the northern region of the Nether, because a majority of the population is in the central areas and even the southern parts. But Corp is pretty much the only major city that is isolated from the rest. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So as you can see, and just like a few episodes ago, like in the city slab, you see these type of buildings, pretty unique and much larger. Now, this one actually has a huge identity because not also these buildings are big, but they're getting taller and have a unique shape, unlike these buildings right here. Even though I like it because it's blue, it's just basic. Even this one, you've seen this in slab before. But when I create these 3 large skyscrapers, it made the city more alive. Like they have that made these piglin creators very sophisticated, yet daring and creative at the same time. And of course, due to that, you see a Hollywood as a sign. Of course, if they do have coarse fence, it will be great. But for now, I'm using just regular nether brick fence. That's about it. So as mentioned before, you see this. This one was an old Imperial palace. And this one was bombed off centuries ago during a war with the piglins. But not just any piglins, regular piglins. And remember, there are two types of piglins, the regulars and the zombified. And the fact that the zombified piglins have much more longevity than the regulars. They can even live for 1,000 years. This one basically a byproduct between the two. Basically a race war that happened a long time ago. And this area, the northern region, was once owned by regular piglins. They first they first coexist until the age of, no, I wouldn't say enlightenment, but during a conflict between the two because of their soul differences. But yeah, it's pretty vague. But in the upcoming videos, I'm going to tell you about the history of it in full details. For now, continue on. So as you can see, another airport, a control tower, and once again, you see more quartz. Very ancient. And then guess what? You actually see this. Now, you thought that the zombified piglins are pretty much the masterminds of making pyramids. The regulars, or the hoglins, made it even better. They even made a sphinx that, according to historians, assume that they based it off the original sphinx from Egypt centuries ago. As you can see, the pyramids are pretty big, insane, but this one's pretty much the biggest. But of course, due to age, they don't last long, unfortunately. As we keep going, we see another one, another generator, another bridge. But this one is not exactly as unique, but does have its own identity. Of course, the same city court, and just ended. There is still a continuation in this city, but from now on, I'll leave it as it is until future videos. And of course, another lava river, also artificial. It's all about the attention to details. But anyways, thank you guys for coming to this video. I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe. You know, I haven't said that in a long time. And I hope you guys really enjoy those shorts I've made. I mean, they're pretty short and tedious, but it's really fun. Especially the Minecraft one. I couldn't believe that actually happens during the Minecraft live event. And unfortunately, I literally wish it shouldn't do that. It should like add all mobs together, but yep. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Later.